This video is brought to you by Huawei App Gallery.
To celebrate Blitz's birthday, from June 20th to June 29th, App Gallery is organizing a big promotion, allowing you to get 50% off the current Battle Pass, 35% off other pack sizes, with a 15% points back on top. Happy birthday!
Download App Gallery using the link in the description or just refer to my previous video. When you're done downloading Huawei App Gallery, make sure to create an account and change your location
To either UK, Ireland, Australia or New Zealand.
It works regardless of the country you're living in, as long as you switch to those.
To access the offer, click the link in the description that will redirect you to the campaign page. From there, all infos you need are listed, and if you scroll down, you'll see a list of coupons to claim that will automatically be applied for the next eligible purchase you will make. Accept the terms and conditions of the campaign, and bang, you get coupons on your App Gallery account.
Now, after downloading World of Tanks Blitz from App Gallery and creating your account on App Gallery as well,
Launch the game, buy the things you need, and when heading to checkout, admire the beauty of the discounts you'll get. On top of that, there's a 15% points back offer going on every World of Tanks Blitz purchase you make. Buy something, get 15% points back, and use them to buy something else. To do this, when heading to the payment, make sure to select Huawei points by signing up. Now, use your totally free currency to buy something else. Many thanks to App Gallery for sponsoring this video. Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we are going to take a look at something quite exciting coming for the World of Tanks Blitz birthday, because when you take a look at what's in the shop right now, you will figure out that there is a little symbol right there with an 8. Simply because it's the 8th anniversary of World of Tanks Blitz. And when you click on it, you will see that you have a lot of juicy offers called bonus level event, in which you have plenty of premiums to choose from. And I thought that it would be a good idea for me to do a video to tell you which one are worth it, because some of you may not have seen those in battle or may not have the pleasure to test them, to play them as well. So yeah, I'm gonna be your guide. So there are 13 tanks to choose from that are starting at tier 6, finishing off at tier 10. And well, not all of them are worth it. What I'm going to propose to you today is taking a look at the 2 tanks I think are worth it in this specific bundle. And hopefully you will follow the advice. Starting off with the Progetto 46, aka one of the greatest mediums tier 8 has to offer. And the crazy thing about it right now is that it's only sitting at 7.5k gold, which is truly cheap for such a massive beast. Basically, the Progetto is a combination between firepower, auto-reloading mechanism and good mobility. Of course, for that you had to throw something away, and in this case it's the whole armor, because that tank will not bounce anything. Maybe if you are lucky you will be able to bounce some shots in the gun mantlet, but to be fair, do not count on it. So how do you want to play it, and is this thing truly worth it? Of course, you already understand that yes, it's worth it, but at what point? This thing is doing a lot of credits because the credit coefficient is quite high. It's not as high as a Lover, for example, which is one of the highest credit coefficient at tier 8, but it's enjoyable enough to make you throw this parameter away. Now for the rest of the tank, let's say that you still need to know what you're doing with it. Basically, you have a good gun depression, a good mobility, no armor, so you need to play from hold down position in peekaboo. What do all of those terms means? It means that you want to show only your turret to your opponents, and you want to make sure that right after shooting or unleashing your whole clip, you relocate, you go back to a safe position from which it's impossible for you to take shots. Because trust me, if you stay in the open, first you are going to get focused because people are aware that this thing is a good tank, but most importantly, you are going to die within maybe 30 seconds and 10 seconds if you're really unlucky. Now, how am I playing it right now? As you can see, I'm not necessarily trying right now to only show my turret. I decided to go for the mobility aspect of the tank. I went through the left side, did the whole corner, simply because I wanted to take care of the RHM. But a quick look to my camera, to my map, made me realize that the RHM decided to play aggressively. Props for the RHM to do that, because it's rare enough to be mentioned. And now we are kind of in a struggle, because, well, you see that when you are exposing your tank, people are gonna snap you. I took it straight into the hull, and oh my gosh, does it hurt. Not a problem, we still have the mobility. We're gonna be able to surprise that VK, and as long as he's focusing on something else, we have the freeway. And here is the most interesting part of the projectile, at least in my opinion, the possibility of unleashing shells when you want to. Because unlike an auto-loading mechanism, which means that when you shoot one shell, it's not going to reload until you reload all of your 3 or 4 shells, depending on the tank, this one, if you shoot only one, will reload one instantly. Therefore, it allows you to be flexible on your DPM and on your approach. When you need to kill someone fast, you can push in straight and unleash your 3 shells, and therefore allowing you to destroy a couple of tanks within a minute, or at least only one tank that still has around 700 hit points. Or you can switch to a more specific playstyle in which you are only going to use the last shell, because I want to remind you that the more shells you have, the easier or the faster the reload. And here you see that, well, even if you only show your turret, as I mentioned, you are still going to get penetrated. This is what happened, but it's part of the game, I guess. I still have a lot of hit points, at least enough to bounce or to take one shot from the Emil. And now our mobility is going to allow us to maybe help that Yak Panta, because if I'm not mistaken, I feel like the Emil is reloading, so it's the perfect spot for us to go in and snap the shots that needs to be snapped on. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get the kill. You're going to see that the T-2020 from the other side is going to have a beautiful shot, but I decided to shoot my HE out of rage anyway. And boom, we get ourselves a good victory. Not necessarily the best replay, but at least one that shows you what you want to do with it and what you can do with it. Because obviously, when you have an auto-reloading mechanism and doing such massive credits every time you play it, because here, guys, I'm not playing with credit booster, you get some incredible credits, and well, you are going to make credits as much as you're going to have a lot of fun. So definitely a go-to tank. Now, we're going to take a look at something a little bit different. Tier 10, Object 260, a Tier 10 Russian tank, if I'm not mistaken, available right now for 15,000 gold. And honestly, for me, this is a catch. But this is a catch only if you follow those precious advice I'm about to tell you, but also if you are a good player. Why? Because first, the Object 260 is not a tank that is meant for everyone, because despite being a heavy tank, it doesn't have the armor that you can rely on when playing a super heavy like an IS-7, for example, that we see right there, maybe a 60 TP Levantskiego, Type 71, etc. Why? Because Wargaming decided for that tank to put everything into the mobility and the firepower. Yes, you can still bounce from time to time and more than a regular medium, and this is exactly your strength, because with this tank you need to play like you are a medium, because your mobility allows you to do so. Yes, you are going to be the slowest of the mediums, but you are going to be the fastest of the heavies, and you need to take that advantage into consideration. Make sure not to be the target of your opponents, otherwise you are going to get smacked. But if you manage to use your 8.5 seconds of reload for 420 alpha damage per shot every time when nobody is taking a look at you, trust me, you are gonna get some great games. And the cool factor about the Object 260 is that a lot of people are thinking that this tank sucks. I'm not gonna say that it sucks, I'm just gonna say that it was disappointing regarding what we had in World of Tanks PC. Because in PC, that thing is packing some serious armor. It's literally impossible to penetrate the turrets. But here, it's a little bit different, so you need to coordinate yourself with your allies in order not to get the first one to die. How do you do that? For example, here I'm trying to circle, I'm not going in straight, I'm not trying to push forward, I'm trying to be the last target my opponents are going for. And if you do that, your DPM will allow you to get good games. On top of that, even if it's a collectible and not a premium, it has the same credit coefficient as a tier 10 premium, which means that you are going to make a lot of credits with it. But there is a downside. When you are facing a real heavy, such as the IS-4, there is literally nothing you can do. Just take a look at how I'm gonna struggle against that IS-4 to be able to do anything. I do not have enough gun depression. I do not know how to penetrate the IS-4 even with gold shell. I'm gonna try my best to get the T-22 medium. Yeah, when you don't have the gun depression and when you don't have the penetration either to penetrate an IS-4, you can't do that much. So take that into consideration when you are playing on a map with heavies, you need to be in second line and try to sneak your shells by using your DPM. But when you are the main focus of your heavies, either you run away or you die, like it was the case here. But I'm conscious that the Object 260 is not a bright tank, especially on the replay I just showed you. But trust me, it has a lot of character, and I'm gonna show you that in this game. Because here, as you can see, thanks to our mobility already going at 40 kilometers per hour and being nearby the E50M, we are gonna be the first one to introduce ourselves to the battlefield. Which is a good thing, because in definitive, when you play that tank the way it's intended to be, you are gonna love it. You are gonna love it, but it requires skill. Look at what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to sting my shells on the stand B because he arrived at the same position at the same time as me, which allowed me to sting my shells. And obviously, even if you don't have the most armored tank, if you only show your turrets to your opponents, it will be dissuasive enough for them not necessarily to try to brawl against you, except if they are tank destroyers, because tank destroyers can really snap your turret, so be careful about that. On top of that, the accuracy of the tank is not necessarily that bad. Like what you saw during the previous replay, but also this one, I'm actually snapping my shots pretty well for the moment without necessarily having to wait for my full circle to be completed before shooting or anything like that. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. On top of that, thanks to the new aim system, if you are a newbie and struggle a little bit shooting, now is your time to shine. So yeah, just do it and buy the Object 260. But as you can see, and you're gonna see through the whole replay, not a single time am I taking risks, except if I'm 100% sure that I'm gonna make it out alive. And this is the kind of consciousness you need to get with this tank. You can't allow yourself to just roll in without thinking. This is what I like to call a smart tank, a tank that requires you to think before acting. Not like a 60 TP, not like a Type 71, just like an Object 260. But when you do it, you will discover a lovely tank, and on top of that, as not a lot of people are playing it because not a lot of people are liking it, you are gonna make more credits than with other tier 10 premium or collectible tanks. Simply because I want to remind you that since one update that I forgot the name or neither the number of, Wargaming made sure that when you get an ace tanker at tier 10, you receive 100,000 more credits than what you would get if you didn't get it. Which means that with this tank, when you do a good game like it's going to be the case here, you are gonna get shit tons of credits, nearly... If you're really good with the tank, I mean in 5-6 games, you can get 1 million credits. So you just play a whole session of 3-4 hours with it, and you can buy whatever tier 10 of your choice. Knowing that now with the Battle Pass, you also have the discounts for the discounts for either the research or even the credits for the purchase of the tanks. It's definitely a catch. Now, of course, with the 260, you need to choose your targets wisely. For example, here, when you are side hugging an M5yo, you can do whatever you want and it will be easy for you to do the job. But when you don't pay attention, for example here, if I focused only on the M5yo without taking care of the other big boy, the standard B, I would have probably get killed. But here, luckily for me, I knew that I was gonna make it. I knew that I was gonna bait the standard B into thinking that I was focused on the M5yo. It worked, and in the end, I got myself 2 kills and quite a lot of damage. On top of that, there is just the 50B switching to 80 shells thanks to our great DPM and alpha damage. And bang, we get 5 kills, 5k damage, and obviously a well-deserved ace tanker. And in definitive, you see that, as I mentioned, you make a lot of credits. So in definitive, the Object 260 is a catch only when you know what you're doing. If you are a new player or you don't have at least, I'm gonna say maybe 5,000 games in this game at tier 10, do not bother buying it. It's not necessarily going to be worth it because you will not necessarily know where to place yourself. Because you know, it's kind of hard when you take a look at the Object 260 because we are telling you that it's a tank that needs to hide the lower part of the hull and, in general, the whole hull. But at the same time, we're telling you that this part and this part are penetrable by pretty much everything using gold shells. So you need to find a balance between both of those statistics in order to make this thing shine. To do that, DPM, alpha damage, mobility, and make sure that you're never the first target of your opponents, the enemy number 1. So in definitive, this is just the 2 tanks in my opinion that are worth it. The rest of them, they are either bad or they are good, but there are better tanks coming or better tanks already implemented into the game. I'm going to take a few examples, but for example, the Kanonenjagd Panzer, you have a Scorpion G, which is better. The Kampfpanzer 70, now you have the tier 9 Russian auto-loading tank that I forgot the name of, T-54 first prototype, you have literally the Progetto M45, etc, etc. So do not bother spending your gold unwisely. Just focus on what's important, the big boy here and the even bigger boy right there. Hopefully you enjoyed, guys. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like and share. And once again, happy birthday, Blitz.